Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: Twins of Reddit. In what ways did you take advantage of having a twin? I'm not a twin but have identical twins. One year, one of them got tired during a shopping trip for school clothes. She said to her sister, "Try this on. I want to see how it looks on me." Actually just did this wedding dress shopping. I was stuck between two and made my twin try one on while I had the other on. It was very helpful. Ha ha ha, I love the image of this. My mom once told one of us to go pick out a coat, then she sent the other one to go get a coat. We picked the exact same coat. For Pete's sake. We kept track by pocket contents when that happened. Or stains. Edit, response to comment above. We actually did that with eyeglasses. Very annoying. Didn't help me. It's a little freaky how similar your tastes can be. Even now that my kids are grown up and live apart, they still pick the same clothes occasionally. I can unlock his phone with facial recognition and send stupid messages to other people from it. Edit, we are 37. Edit 2, wow, thanks for all the awards. Who knew being a jerk to your brother could pay off? Phone was a Pixel 4, and yes, Facebook confuses the two of us when it suggests that we may be in a photo. Edit 3, for all of you who asked, no, the fingerprint scan does not work. Yeah, this is a flaw with the newest phone models. Can unlock my twin's phone with my face, but before that I wouldn't have been able with Touch ID. So is Touch ID better? Touch ID is definitely better, however even more secure than that is the good old traditional password. My dad is friends with identical twins and he told me this funny story. He was with them at an open house for their aero club. My dad and the two twins are all pilots and were supporting the event. Someone was really curious and asked the twins if there was any truth to the stories about twin telepathy, where twins have some sort of psychic connection. They were both quiet for a few moments and it started to get uncomfortable. The man looked a little embarrassed and said something along the lines that he was just curious and it was a silly question. One of the twins looked him in the eyes and said, "Oh, it's not a problem, we were just discussing how we were going to answer." There was a moment of confusion on the man's face and the twins busted out laughing, saying they had been waiting for an opportunity to try that joke out. Ooh, that's funny. We've been asked that as well, at an aero club too lol, but we didn't give such a clever answer as your dad's friends did. D. My twin and I used to switch classes to take exams for each other in middle and high school. It was pretty fun, but we started to differ in looks as we got older, so it probably wouldn't work anymore lol. Although, our voices still sound exactly the same, so we can often trick our parents on the phone and stuff like that. Also, not trying to say we have telepathy, but when you spend literally every waking second of your life together, we can always kind of know what each other is thinking. It's like we've developed our own language. Edit, typos. I heard a story about two twin girls at my high school who tried that once and they almost got away with it, but the one taking the test for the other accidentally wrote her own name on it. LOL, rookie mistake. I dated a twin. They used to fuck with me on the phone and the other would pretend to be my boyfriend. Their voices sounded exactly the same, so he would generally trick me for a few minutes. Got to the point where if I was on the phone with him and I knew his brother was there, I would ask something only he would know, so I know who I was talking to. In person it was very easy to tell them apart though. When I was a kid, there were twin sisters in the neighborhood, Meg and Peg. Each would say how much they disliked their sister, and didn't like to hang around each other. Towards the end of the summer I asked their older brother where his sisters were. Sisters. I only have one sister, Margaret. She tricked me for an entire summer. I have a twin brother but we never did a switcheroo or anything. It's probably much more mundane than people think. To me he's just my brother. One great thing though is I don't have to try to remember the names of random acquaintances because no one remembers which one I am. I've never wanted to be a twin more. I forget names at the drop of a hat. It's cool. But flip side is some people don't think of you as an individual, rather you're the twins, which gets old. I was good friends with identical twins in college. My favorite story with them was one night at the bar, one of them was hooking up with a girl, and walked away to either go to the bathroom or get a drink or something. At that very moment, his brother showed up and walked into the bar, and the girl just grabbed him and started kissing him. The look of shock/happiness on his face was hilarious. He changed his clothes to try and ghost me. I better kiss him to seal the deal. Edit, 10 years in and I got my first ever award. Gonna go shine it. Changed clothes. Wait. Don't identical twins walk around in identical outfits? 2 cakes on our birthday. Or 1 big cake and loads of ice cream. D. I know of a pair of twins, and when they were younger they developed their own way of speaking. Not with different words and phrases, but they meshed their words in such a way that they are difficult to understand. They have a sibling who's able to understand most of what they are saying, but is not fluent, so to speak. Around other people their words don't mesh, but around each other they revert back to their speech patterns. I would love to hear this, as a fan of language. My twin boys do it. They are only 5 so they may grow out of it. Me and the wife started with understanding it, but as it developed it became more unique and fluid. From the research I have done on it, it seems more related to a Pidgeo language they have created themselves. While it is amazing 2 people can independently create a unique Pidgeo, it's much more so in small communities. It seems shared connection and lack of knowledge is what does it. Humans year to identify and co-understand their world. If they do not have the words to describe or illiterate their world, they will create them. So long as the other user is also ignorant of a way to do so, they will adopt said word or phrases. It's pretty cool. Ija edit, it's actually pigeon not the bird. No excuse for mistake, just adding clarification. My husband and his mirror image twin had their own twin talk too. They lost it by the time they started school though. They still do the whole knowing exactly what the other is talking about though. Whole conversations can be like the following. T1, you know that. T2, yeah, and that. T1, couldn't believe it. T2, do you? T1, definitely. T2, let's do that. Their mom and I joke that they can have whole conversations without a single noun. Me and my husband talk like that a lot, or one of us will say something and the other normally responds with get out of my head, which means they were thinking the exact same thing. I have a twin brother. The advantage is always having someone to talk to. No matter how good or shitty our days were, we're there for each other. Yep, this. There was one time when I had my brother's ID so I could pick up a food order he'd paid for with his credit card over the phone, but they didn't even ask to see it when I got there. Editing to add that I can't wrap my brain around identical twins who end up living hundreds or thousands of miles apart. That's probably more of a me thing than a them thing, though. Editing again to add that I know I'm not representative of all identical twins. People can live their lives however they wish and whichever way they go. I'm just saying I'm glad to have someone close to me who's the exact same kind of weird as I am, lol. When me and my sister are driving somewhere and she forgets her license, I tell her she can borrow mine if we get pulled over. I'm a twin. If you're reading this, twin brother, hi. Inside jokes. My twin brother and I have so many inside jokes even now at 30 years old. And the best part is our minds work alike that we only have to say 1 or 2 words and the other one is busting up laughing. Our other brothers and each of our wives look at us like we're nuts, but most people don't get it. There's a connection there that normal siblings just can't have. He was my first roommate after all. Would you say he used to be your roommate? 2 snare drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. In my high school there was an unusually high number of twins. As in, minimum 3 sets of twins per 90-person class. One class had 6 sets. A common prank was for twins to switch classes for a period or day. Most of the time the teachers caught them, they were very used to it, but there were 2 brothers that always got away with it. They were just too identical in looks, voice, and mannerisms. One of those guys had a crush on me and to this day, I still don't know which one it was, lol. All the twins got a special group photo in the yearbook every year, too. Edit, I'll address some common questions here. This was in poor, rural West Michigan. Very few folks in the whole county could afford IVF, so I don't think that's much of a factor. By 90-person class, I mean grade. Like 9th, 10th, 11th grade, etc. This was an average grade size for that high school, the biggest in the county. Again, rural Michigan. To the folks saying I should have given it a shot with one of the twins and taken that 50% chance of getting it right, you're giving a lot of credit to high school sassiest pants. My super small town school had an unusually high number of twins too. Probably close to the same ratio you said, just half or a third of the class size. We did some swapping around, but most of the teachers could typically tell pretty quickly, once they paid attention to it. We did the yearbook photos too. They always said captioning it was a nightmare. You guys have some in weird your town's water. Dowsed is some people fetishize it. I had my ex-boyfriend beg for a threesome with my twin, which was gross and weird. He offered to buy both of us $600 designer bracelets if we did it. Sharing birthday gifts can suck as well. Do you cry if she cries in another state? Do you ever forget which twin you are? I want to see y'all fight. If I stab her, will you feel her pain? Which is the smart twin and which one is the dumb twin? Advantage is always having someone to go somewhere with, whether it be a party, lunch, shopping, wherever. I once got, do you ever wake up and not remember which one you are? Sure, every morning our brains reset and we have to decide who is who and sort through whose memories are whose. My brother one time in a very public place was standing by me. When a person asked him, "Hey, are you two twins?" he turned to me and as loudly as he could, yelled, "Jesus, you look like me." What the hell? And then ran away screaming. I was both amused and mortified. Or my personal favorite. What if you were switched at birth and you were actually the other twin? Ush, I've still grown up as wise_writing my whole life, so I'm wise_writing. But what if you weren't? What if you were your brother? But I'm not. My ex Phil, Joel, had a twin brother, James. We never got to meet James, as he died before the age of 5, I think it was smallpox. Cancer took Joel about 5 years ago, so I'd like to share his story. Joel often told the story about how on the day he was born the hospital did the whole weighing and footprints and wrist bracelets or whatever for both babies. When the staff handed the babies back to his mother, she looked at the wristbands and said, "No. You got it wrong. This one is James, and this one is Joel. Fix it." They grumbled a lot, but she was adamant, and made them redo the birth certificates, bracelets, and everything. He always ended the story smiling, saying, "And she was right. I'm not a James. I am definitely Joel."